Pikachu, give him your electric shock! Pikachu! Electricity isn't gonna work.
So, a while ago, Pokemon announced this on their Twitter. Yes, after 25 years, Ash and Pikachu's journey is finally coming to a close. While a new series starring a brand new set of protagonists is set to air following an 11-episode epilogue concluding Ash and Pikachu's journey completely. Now, as a longtime Pokemon fan, I thought I'd commemorate this moment of history by going over the entirety of Ash and Pikachu's journey, all the way from Indigo League to the present day, while also going over my own memories of each season respectively. I'm really hoping that I could get all this out by the time the new series starts, but oh my god, there's over 1,223 episodes of this long-running series, so it's not gonna be easy. But we're gonna try. So, with that being said, grab your popcorn, your drinks, your snacks, strap yourself in, because now we're about to take a little trip down memory lane. April 1st, 1997. Two notable things happened that day. One, it was April Fool's Day in the year 1997, and two, it was the day the first episode of the long-running Pokemon anime aired. More than a year after the release of Pokemon Red and Green, while we in North America wouldn't see the release of any of these until the year 1998. Now, I personally can't recall my first time ever watching or experiencing Pokemon, but my earliest memories have to probably have been between the 1999s and 2000s Pokemania.
Be forewarned, if you haven't been already, the hottest thing in the 12 and under set is coming soon to a theater near you. Pokemon the movie joins Pokemon the video game and Pokemon the trading card as must-sees and must-haves. To start us off tonight, NBC News correspondent Colleen Dominguez on the craze that has now hit Hollywood.
More than a game.
Anybody know how to play this, how to get to the next level?
Or a top-rated TV show, Pokemon is an undeniable obsession with children across the country. The upcoming Pokemon the First movie recently caused such a frenzy that the switchboard at Warner Brothers was flooded with 70,000 calls a minute from people desperate for tickets. The animated Japanese import created by Nintendo also holds the top 5 video game slots. So what exactly is a Pokemon?
During this time, Pokemon might have been the biggest thing on the planet, ranging from the already successful games Red and Blue, the trading card game, the merchandise, Heck, Pokemon even made the cover of Time magazine, the first and only time a video game franchise ever achieved such a feat. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
It's the most anticipated event of the new decade. Nintendo, 4Kids Entertainment, Kids WB, and Warner Home Video present Pokemon, the first movie. The Pokemon phenomenon is sweeping the nation.
I think my biggest memory of that time was probably seeing the first movie in theaters with my parents. I was living at my cousin's house after my mom got remarried, and just one day, her and my future stepdad just took me out to see the new movie. Another memory I have is probably would be like the limited Pokemon cereal made by Kellogg's. It was basically just Lucky Charms with Pokemon as marshmallows. Actually, I think I have more bitter memories towards this cereal because my damn cousins ate all the damn marshmallows and I was pissed! And my mom only bought that cereal once, so that memory has never left my brain since the age of 4, and even now at the age of 27. Pokemon was, and still is, a massive sensation worldwide. But if it wasn't the games or the TCG you were consuming Pokemon with, it was most likely through the anime. Licensed by 4Kids Entertainment, a New York-based licensing company focused on localizing Japanese anime. You might be familiar with 4Kids for their infamous localization of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the permanent damage they did to One Piece's reputation in the West. But before all of that, there was Pokemon, and I can say with full confidence that this was probably the best thing that ever came from 4Kids. Well, this in TMNT 2003, but that's an entirely different video. Nowadays, 4Kids Entertainment are no longer a thing after they filed for bankruptcy back in 2016, and then proceeded to shut down a year later. But the memories of 4Kids' time with Pokemon will never be forgotten.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
I don't think there's a single person from the 90s that isn't familiar with this theme song. It's iconic. As a matter of fact, it is so iconic that they made several variants of it. One of them being used as the first opening for the XY anime.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
As for which one's better, who cares? They're all great for their own individual reasons. And if you think that sounded like a cop-out, then you'd be right. As for the show itself, rather than being a direct adaptation of Red, Blue, and Green, following Trainer Red and his rival Blue, or Green in Japan, going on their Pokemon journey across the Kanto region collecting gym badges, while also trying to complete the Pokédex, the Pokemon anime is more of its own thing. Following an anime original character based off of Red, Ash Ketchum, or Satoshi in Japan, named after the creator of the series, Satoshi Tajiri, on his journey to become a Pokemon master. And rather than choosing a Squirtle, Bulbasaur, or Charmander, Ash woke up late, and as a consolation prize he was stuck with a Pikachu, who's been serving as the series mascot. Red's rival, Blue, also got his own counterpart, and his name is Gary Motherfucking Oak, or Shigeru Okido in Japan, named after Shigeru Miyamoto, who was Tajiri's mentor at the time, and is also responsible for why Pokemon games been having 2 versions per generation. And, like his in-game counterpart, he too is also Professor Oak's grandson. Another change is Ash having companions in both Misty and Brock, or Kasumi and Takashi in Japan, the 2 gym leaders from Pewter City and Cerulean City respectively. Both of them follow Ash for their own reasons. Misty because Ash destroyed her bike and she's determined to make him pay back for it, although throughout the series it becomes more of an excuse more than anything. And Brock because he aspires to be a Pokemon breeder, and venturing out with Ash is his best way to learn more about Pokemon. Also accompanying Ash are the Team Rocket trio, Jesse, James, and a talking Meowth, 3 members of a criminal organization dead set on trying to steal rare Pokemon. Keywords being trying, because every episode they attempt to steal Ash's Pikachu, amongst other Pokemon, and fail either due to being thwarted by Ash and the gang themselves, or due to their own incompetence as villains. Although that incompetence is actually what makes this trio so memorable in the first place, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Here, darling, I made all your favorite dishes.
Oh.
Here's a snow loaf with snow sauce, a sampler of sushi snow rolls, Ida snow potatoes with snow sour cream, and for dessert, a bowl of your favorite snow pudding.
Bruh.
Happy Snogusboard.
This is the best Snogusboard any mommy ever made.
And we're watching a series you haven't watched in years, you tend to notice things you wouldn't have paid attention to when you were a kid compared to now when you're an adult like me. Like, take Brock's quirk of falling in love with any girl. I mean, that's nothing out of the ordinary, really. Heck, it was the longest running gag in the series. But how about this one time when the main trio and the Team Rocket trio both got separated from their Pokemon, and then there's this one scene where all the Pokemon are out in the forest being served Odin by a Slowbro. Heck, Meowth and Bulbasaur here are visibly drunk in this scene. Or this one scene where the main trio thought the Team Rocket trio were dead, and instead of checking their pulses to see if they were dead, they sought to just give them a proper burial and dump them down into the ocean. Or the following scene where Meowth almost drowns and Pikachu just stands there waiting for him to drown, only for Meowth to recover, and Pikachu's visibly disappointed by that fact. Or how about all the times where Ash Ketchum was the biggest savage in anime?
You see, this camera is my life.
Get yourself a new life.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
Most of the enjoyment of the Indigo League comes from the interactions themselves, rather it's between the trainers or their Pokemon. I don't think I need to go over the amount of times where Ash and Misty take shots at each other and argue like they're a married couple, and Brock has to be their mediator. Heck, the same can also be said about the Team Rocket trio, which makes them perfect foils for each other. These interactions are even made better due to the performance of the voice actors themselves. You can tell their dialogue doesn't feel forced, and they just had a lot of fun recording most of these lines. It's just a damn shame what happens to them after Season 8, but we'll cross that road when we get there. That being said, it's not all perfect. While I love the performances of the VAs, I can't say the same about the scripting. I'm sure most of you by now are more than familiar with all the edits, specifically the infamous Jelly Donut scene.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite! Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
I can overlook most of that stuff for the most part. My issue stems from 4Kids' massive hard-on for puns and wordplay. I swear, there must have been some sort of mandate at 4Kids to have at least one cheesy pun per episode, and it only gets worse. By the time I got to the Orange Islands League, I was rolling my eyes and sighing every time a lame pun saw its way into the episode. Heck, the episode titles probably gotta be the biggest offender. They got shit like, The Perfect Heroes, So Near Yet So Far-Fetched, The Pokemon Sensation, Beauty and the Beach, and the list just goes on. But shit, what the fuck, why stop there? How about The Needle King and I? This toast is butter-free. The School of Hard Brow. Oh god, that's terrible. Surprisingly, the Bye Bye Butterfree episode, which I assume was a reference of the musical Bye Bye Birdie, was the exact same as the Japanese title. And good on them for understanding time and place for a sad episode. I'd rather not have it sullied with another pun title. Granted, I'm not a big fan of puns in general, so maybe it's just a me thing. Then again, if I had to choose between these overuses of puns versus Saban's overuse of dated pop culture references in Digimon, I'd probably take these 9 times out of 10. Another thing I can appreciate more as an adult than I could ever as a kid is the music. I always liked the music, rather it be the theme song or the Pokerap, heck, even some of the songs from the Pikachu jukebox. They're kinda cheesy now, but they're pretty enjoyable. But I also really love the original score composed and arranged by Shinji Miyazaki, which, unlike most other 4Kids works, is still for the most part present in this dub. Most English dubs would rather make their own in-house music as a cheaper method, so big props to 4Kids for letting us kids in North America experience these classics. Songs like the Wild Battle theme, the main Pokemon theme, the Gym Battle theme, the Rocket Power Disaster, Chaos, Meeting and Parting, Let's Run, Burning Battlefield, etc., and so much more. I love this OST. One of my personal favorites has probably gotta be Raid though, mostly due to the fact that it gives off a perfect feeling of suspense. A damn shame that there's no way to legally enjoy these songs. Seriously, put these on Spotify! you're wondering why I haven't mentioned anything about the battles, which is one of the core aspects of Pokemon, it's because, at least during this generation, I find that the battles are probably the weakest element, surprisingly. I don't find the battles bad, mind you, I just don't find them all that interesting aside from a few. Those being Pikachu versus Raichu at Vermilion City, mostly because of how determined Pikachu was to prove it was better than Raichu, to the point where it even refused to become one. And probably Ash versus Richie, or specifically the final portion of that battle where Charizard refused to battle Richie's Pikachu and fell asleep, followed by a lecture for Professor Oak for neglecting his training.
Maybe you could have gone much further if you hadn't been so sure of yourself and you trained your Charizard properly.
But
One can only advance so far relying on strength and intuition. Trainers must learn to battle with a deeper understanding of each Pokemon's natural abilities.
Okay, and there's one more. And there's the battle against Drake in the Orange Islands League, because this was the first time we've ever seen a full-on 6v6 battle in the series. It also displayed Ash's growth, showing us he's not the same trainer who lost in the Indigo League. Otherwise, that's about as far as it goes. Like, I think my biggest issue with the battles, at least in the Indigo League, is that they feel way too short to get any true enjoyment out of. And while I do get a kick out of the idea that Pokemon battles in the anime are less about picking type advantages, which is definitely makes battles more interesting, but I just wish they'd be more consistent about immunities. Like, take this one battle against Satoshi's Marowak, for example. Ash uses Pikachu, but surely Marowak, a ground-type Pokemon, should not only have the advantage, but should be entirely immune to Pikachu's electric attack.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Stuff like this happens so often, I'm constantly wondering if the people working on this didn't know what was weak to what and just said,
hey, fuck it.
So you wanna be a master of Pokemon? Do you have the skills to be #1? I wanna take the ultimate step, find the courage to be bold.
I haven't even begun to touch upon the Orange Islands League, an anime exclusive arc which mostly serves as filler until the Johto League. Not to say it isn't memorable in itself, after all, this is the arc where Ash caught his Snorlax, Misty her Poliwag. It's also the arc where Ash's Charizard finally begins to listen to him. It's also the arc where Ash wins his first Pokemon League. Granted, it's not a real Pokemon League, at least in the traditional sense, but it counts for something. Oh, this arc also introduced Tracy Sketchit, who was the temporary replacement for Brock at the time. He also shares the same Japanese VA for Gilgamesh from the Fate series. Seriously. So much I can say about the original series, but in order to not make a video as long as my P5A sucks video, I have to show restraint, and instead just encourage others to try it for themselves. Any fan of the Pokemon series owes it to themselves to check out seasons 1 and 2 of the anime if they haven't already, and to people who grew up with the original series, why not give it a rewatch? You might find things more enjoyable now than you did as a kid. I know I sure as hell did.
By the likes of you, I'm going to capture and defeat you all. You hear me? Pikachu, go inside the Pokeball. It's the only way. Come and get me!
so much I could talk about, but we got a lot of ground to cover, so for now, let's just keep things simple. Lord knows it's gonna only get more difficult when the next 3 seasons. Johto League Journeys, Johto League Champions, and Master Quest. Funny enough, these are the ones I have the most memories with from my childhood with. So, with that being said, see you in the next generation.